Hey everybody, you're here with Luminol on the Wall. I'm Becky.
And I'm Bevy.
What? She's back.
I'm
She's
back,
back.
bitches. I'm so excited actually to be back. It's felt like maybe too long.
Yeah. I completely agree, Bevy.
But you did a really good job.
Oh, well, thank you. I tried very hard. But I realize I need you. You complete me.
Yes. It's a lot more fun to do it with me, I know.
You know, it's really just a lot of work without you.
Oh, pish posh. We know the truth of your heart, sister.
I do it all anyways.
I mean that you love me and like I'm the epitome of fun. And
well, that too,
make you happy.
Well, obviously.
All right. So I'm going to read because you've been reading.
I've been reading. I get to just sit back, listen to some bedtime stories just like your baby.
Yeah. I have started reading to him, but you know what? He is largely uninterested. He don't give a fuck.
Yeah, no kidding.
In fact, he gets fussy by the end of it. And
he's
I was like,
shut up.
Okay. Yeah.
I want to not do this.
Yeah. And he's the best. He's the best, everyone. He's so cute. I just love him more than anything in the world. And yeah, I just love him. He's adorable, right, Becky?
Oh, yeah. He is just the cutest. Like, he has this, like, skullet thing going on right now.
Yes,
and
he does.
And it's, like, the cutest, like, old man skullet.
Yeah, it's true. It's rather unfortunate, but I apparently, like, looked it up, and he also had acne at one point, so he's gone from, like, an adolescent to an old man real quick. But, yeah, it's all pretty normal.
Whew, thank goodness.
Yeah.
The hair will grow in.
Oh, yeah. It's already starting to.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Yeah, he's cute, and I could just talk all day about him, so I will spare y'all that.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, it was like when Becky got Rocky, and all she did was talk about Rocky. I'm like the same with Coulson. I'm like, yeah, all I'm going to do is talk about him. So
yeah, that's all you got.
Might as well just get into it. So, Becky, give us the 411 on this case.
All right, we are heading overseas today.
Ooh.
To the UK. It's been a while since we covered one from the UK. Have you ever heard of Darlington?
No, I haven't. But I know that it's in the United Kingdom, about 4.5 to 5 hours north of London, with a little over 100,000 people.
You're so right. You took the words right out of my mouth there.
Literally.
Just read like the second paragraph.
Yeah, there you go.
Or first.
But other than that, no, I haven't heard of it.
Okay, well, it is very charming. It's a very charming place, I have to say. If you are not from the UK and you think of England, this is the town you think of. Besides Buckingham Palace and the Royals.
Sweet.
But the cute little like cottage, quaint little town, that's what you get in Darlington.
Oh, adorable.
Yeah, I actually would really like to go there sometime, so... Anyways, I did not know you were coming back until like earlier this morning. And this just so happens to be a cannibal case.
Yes.
It's like the world just knew you were coming back and ready to hear it.
Yeah, it was like perfect timing. It's like not too long of a case. And it's about cannibalism. So like, I don't know. It just seems like a perfect fit for a new mom who loves to talk about cannibalism. Hey.
A new mom. Yeah, sure.
I meant the short time, Becky. Come on, get with the program.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, you threw cannibal in there. It was weird to describe as like new mom.
Becky's tired because she's been doing hard labor all day.
Oh, yeah.
So her brain's slow.
I mean, I don't think I was.
Slower than usual. Slower than usual.
Well, time will tell. Time will tell. But if you do notice anything, I'm so sorry. I think I'm rather alert, but maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm just in my own little world. So anyways, Bevy, get on with it. Let me hear your fresh new
Oh,
voice.
is that the 411? It's in Darlington, bitches. Great synopsis right there. All right.
I said cannibal too.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Get on with it.
So, as we said, Darlington is in the United Kingdom. It's about 4.5 to 5 hours north of London and has just over 100,000 people. And Darlington is best known as the cradle of the railways. And that's because in 1825, it became home to the world's first public railway to use steam locomotives, the Stockton and Darlington Railway, which was engineered by George Stephenson. It was this moment in history that helped launch the railway age across the globe. So it was a pretty important moment in history. Now, one of the families that lived in Darlington, called the Pease family, gifted the town a famous clock tower.
Yeah, it's like a mini Big Ben.
I love how you said that, thinking I would understand this reference.
What?
A Big Ben?
In London.
Yeah, I don't know. God, you should know this, Becky. That I would not know that. This is bullshit.
Oh, I thought everyone knew that.
Well,
although this is not surprising because of our trivia day that...
Yes.
Well, it wasn't even trivia day. It was just like Craig throwing random trivia at us.
And we Googling everything.
Know it.
Yeah, we just Googled the shit out of everything. So
I mean, I thought I only Googled maybe like 50% myself.
Okay, so we're moving on.
So it's a mini Big Ben clock tower, okay?
Yes, and the Pease family were industrialists who helped develop the railway. So, yeah. And as you had kind of mentioned earlier, Becky, Darlington blends both old and new Victorian architecture. So it has that cobbled market squares and modern shopping areas, and it lies on the River Skerne. So let's get into who this case is all about. And that would be a woman named Julie Paterson, who was born July 13th, 1966. And she grew up in Durham, England, and had a brother named Michael. Now, the two siblings had a pretty tough upbringing, but they were always there for each other, which is what siblings are for, right, Rebecca?
Yes, we're always there for each other.
We are trauma bonded, baby.
Booyah.
Now, part of this rough upbringing included that Julie's mom died when she was 31 years old. And at the time, Julie was only 3 years old. So she didn't have her mama growing up, which is sad. That being said, growing up, Julie was popular. She was likable and she had good friends. But throughout her whole life, she was just really looking for love and stability.
Aren't we all, hey?
That is the truth, Rebecca. And safety. Love, stability, and safety.
Yes.
So, kind of as a result of her tough upbringing, Julie did have some issues into her adulthood. One of those issues was that she battled depression. But despite her depression, she did eventually meet a man named Fred Newman, and she ended up having a few children too. However, that marriage eventually ended, and ultimately, Fred fought Julie for custody of her 3 children. And the reason why Fred wanted custody was because Julie, as we know, had some issues. She didn't just battle depression, Becky. She was also addicted to alcohol and Valium.
Ooh, I can see why he may have wanted custody.
Yeah, I feel like if any reason, that's one of the better ones.
Mm-hmm.
So ultimately, Fred does get custody of the children due to her addictions. But by 1998, Julie was living with her long-term partner, Alan Taylor. She was 31 years old, and she did have scheduled visitations with her children. And Alan was a very supportive partner and was totally devoted to Julie. They were completely in love, and they did have a child together. Despite getting a second chance at being a mom, Julie was still facing addictions. And because of that, she would sometimes disappear for a few days at a time. And Alan really wouldn't think twice about her kind of disappearing for a couple days. But in May of 1998, Alan decided to contact the local Darlington Police Department to report Julie as missing. She had missed appointments to get her Valium, and she had also missed one of her scheduled visitations with her daughter. And that was not like her, because she would always turn up for those things. So Alan began looking around town at her usual spots. And it just turned out that no one had seen her recently. And it was after that Alan realized something was not right. But by that time, she had been missing for about a month already. When the police were notified, detectives wondered if Julie had been hurt on one of her adventures. So they ordered searches of the riverbanks, parks, and fields around Darlington. Nobody knew where she was, and there was no evidence of where she was either. So the police contacted a man named David Davies. He was a longtime officer who worked with scent dogs. The police used the German Shepherds to help find missing people, so they thought this was a good place to start.
I mean, their noses are way stronger than ours.
That is true, Becky. Your dog, half German Shepherd, somehow has the ability and the scent receptors to find balls. Tennis
Only
balls, squishy balls, balls.
Just balls. Literally nothing else can he find.
Yeah.
You throw like a treat when he's not looking and he hears it, but can he find it? No.
But balls, he can do.
Yes. Any day of the week.
I don't think your dog would be hired, Becky, to the Darlington Police Force.
You know, I actually think that if Rocky had been even initially trained as like a police dog, I think he might have been fired.
Yeah, I think he would be too. I thought you were going to say hired. And when you said fired, I was like, yes.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. He's like too friendly, and his nose
likes balls.
Is not the greatest. Yeah.
Yep. There you go. All right. So on May 16th of 1998, Officer Davies took his dog, whose name was Tyler, to see if he could pick up on anything. They started their search at Pullum Lane. And not long into the search, Tyler hit on something behind a fence. And when Officer Davies looked through the bushes and fence, he saw a home. Now, Officer Davies initially thought Tyler the dog had found a homeless person hiding in the yard, but when he reached through the shrubs, he touched on a garbage bag. He pulled it open and almost immediately recognized the stench coming from there as decomposing flesh. He put Tyler back in his van and then went to look at the bag. Now, I have a theory as to why he might have put Tyler back in the van, Becky.
Balls. I'm just kidding. That means nothing. What is your theory, Bev? Hit us with your theories that we've missed so much.
Well, do you think the dog would eat it? The decomposing flesh? I mean, I just wonder. I mean, your dog has eaten like a decomposing squirrel, so I just wonder, you know?
Yeah, it was a gopher, first of all, Bevy.
Oh, whatever.
And I don't know. That would be horrifying. Because, like, decomposing flesh, we can assume it's a body. And would the dog have gone, like, run a train on that? Nom, 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 nom.
That sounded terrible. I'm not gonna lie. The fact that you said ran a train on that, like, made my insides, like, not feel good, Becky. Not feel good. Ugh.
Oh.
But yeah,
So
would he
sorry.
have mowed down, you know? Like, anyways, that's just like a small little theory there. So anyways, back to the decomposing flesh in a garbage bag.
Mm-hmm.
So Officer Davies decides to go into the yard where the home is. And this lady comes out from the home and tells him not to worry about this bag. saying that 2 young men had thrown it over the fence a couple weeks ago, and they told her it was a dead dog. But when he looked inside, he could see flesh and bones, and there were a lot of bugs in the bag.
Yeah, like probably maggots.
Yes, Becky, probably maggots.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I left my organics outside once because I hated the smell inside. This is when organics was new. And I left it on my balcony for one night. And the next morning I went to go throw something in it. And there was already like maggots and nasty all over it in one night. And I was like, well, never again.
Yeah, it's crazy how fast it does happen, hey?
Yes, it was rather revolting, I have to say.
Yeah.
So needless to say, now it sits under my sink. Mm-hmm.
Right? No more maggots. Hopefully. Mm-hmm.
No more maggots, Becky, yes.
Okay, before we go any further in this case, Bev, let's just like rewind that a tiny bit.
Okay.
If you had a backyard and 2 young men threw a garbage bag in it and said, "Don't worry about that, that's a dead dog."
That's a fair point. I did not even think of that. But like, wouldn't you be like, get that fucking shit off my lawn?
Yeah. Like, she was just like, "Oh,
Yeah,
don't
you
worry
could
about
just
that,
keep
officer.
your
It's just a
dead
dead
dog there."
dog
Yeah,
in my
don't
backyard
worry.
in a bag. I'm
Yeah,
going to take these young men for their word."
I told them they could just keep it there. I
Yeah.
wasn't bothered by it at all, actually.
Yeah, storage space for
Yeah.
your dead dog.
People throw weird things over my fence all the time, officer.
I don't ask any questions.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, how is she okay with that?
Right? Wow, Becky, good point. You know, sometimes you just read through these things and you don't, like, stop to think about the
practicality of it?
Yeah, you know, you're just like, yeah, reading it, going on. But, like, if someone did that in my yard, I'd be like, get the hell out of here and take your dead dog with you.
Right? And if they left it behind, wouldn't you go check on it? Like,
well,
I mean, it's not like I want to look at it, you know, but like, what if it's not a dead dog? Who just throws a dead dog like that? Most people, you know, take it to the vet to get like cremated.
Yeah, or they just like bury it. If you're going to throw it over a fence, why not just bury it, you know?
That is the question right there.
So I guess this begs the question. If this is in fact a dead human body, is this woman involved? Because how could she not bat an eye? Like, you know, and how could she like go to the officers and be like, don't worry about that bag? It's like, is she really just a weird old lady? Or is she involved somehow?
Well, I guess we're going to find out, Bevy.
That's right.
You're going to tell us.
All right. So Officer Davies calls the police to let them know what he has just found. The police believed that this was Julie, although her remains had to be sent off for testing. And after some additional tests, Becky, it was confirmed to be Julie.
Not a dog.
Not a dead dog. But what was surprising was that the remains was only her torso. Her arms, legs, and head were all missing. News of this tragedy spread like wildfire and really scared the residents of Darlington. Rumors flew, and this ended up being a media frenzy. Because crimes like this really didn't happen in small towns like Darlington. So now the community had to be on high alert for what seemed to be like a very, very violent predator. Now, if that old lady isn't, back to the old lady, if she isn't involved, which could be possible, obviously, I'd be super scared. Like, she saw the person who threw a dead body over her fence. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I bet she'll never let that happen again.
Yeah, you were brushed with evil. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Could you imagine be like, actually, you can't leave your dog here this time? I had a weird situation like 3 years ago.
Yeah,
Never
exactly.
Again.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Weird.
That's weird.
So now, throughout this investigation, police spoke to about 200 witnesses and had over 800 calls to sift through. But despite that, they still had no suspect. They also had no leads and did not know where the rest of Julie's body was. The local newspaper in Darlington, called the Northern Echo, reported on this case. And following the investigation, when the police had no leads, the newspaper printed an article asking the community for help to find Julie's remains and pled with the public for anyone who had information to come forward. Now, the whole community was rather invested in this case, but this article specifically caught the attention of a local group of friends after a night of drinking. And the reason why it was so notable was because the following morning, one of their friends bragged about killing a woman named Julie.
Yeah, I can see how that caught their attention.
Yeah. I'm surprised they didn't come forward sooner. They had to wait for like a local newspaper to kind of like come out and ask for help. I mean, granted, they could have just maybe not known about the case. Maybe they weren't,
I think when this guy told them, it was kind of like one right after another. At first, they just thought he was like kind of bullshitting them. And then they saw the article and were like, uh-oh.
Yeah, but it's not like this created a media frenzy. You know what I mean? So they must have known about it for a while. And I mean, like what I'm trying to say is maybe they just weren't aware of the happenings of the town. Like not everyone keeps up on the news or things like that. And maybe a newspaper article would be a way that they could actually be informed of the case. And that's why they came forward. But like,
I mean, it was the 90s, Bev.
I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Good call.
You're right. It was the 90s. It's not like now where it's going to be on Facebook and, 10 different news outlets. That's true.
Over and over and over again.
That is true, Becky. Over and over and over again. Okay, so anyways, the man who made this claim was named David Harker. And initially, all of his friends just had thought that he was full of it and was just being drunk and stupid, like you said. But David's statements didn't sit right with his good friend, Mike. So the man called the police and told them what David had said and that they should talk to him. So the question was, who is David Harker?
Okay, actually, funny side note, before you get into who he was.
Yes.
When I was doing my research, I accidentally kept typing in David Harkin. And I don't know if you know off the top of your head, but that is the name of some jerk boss off of Horrible Bosses.
Oh, I don't know because I've never watched that, but...
Sure you have.
Mm-mm.
Huh, you should. Anyways, I kept typing that in by accident, and so the movie synopsis just kept coming up in like pictures of all the actors. I'm like, why is Jennifer Aniston like coming up on my Google search when I'm trying to look up a murderer or potential murderer? And then I was like, oh my God, I spelled it just one letter wrong. And it was a terrible boss's name. Not that funny, actually.
Wait, I think I have seen that with Jennifer Aniston. Isn't she like doesn't she like take advantage of men? Like, isn't she like a dental assistant or something?
She's a dentist, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think I've seen like the end of it. But anyways. Silly little error. Becky's like, this is not what I'm looking for.
I was very confused for a second, and then I was like, oh. Because then I was like, oh my God, do they have the same name? Because that's really funny. I was like, nope. I'm just being a misspelling dummy right now.
Classic. I'm happy
Becky.
You said it, not I.
Wow. First time back, already trying to hit me in the heart about misspelling.
All right. So David Harker. I said it like that to also kind of dig it in a little more. How do you feel about that, Becky?
Well, I knew what you were doing right away, so I'm not necessarily happy about it, but overall still happy you're here.
Okay. So David Harker was born in Durham on November 27th, 1957. And from a young age, he was in trouble with the police. Shocker. Not.
Yeah. No.
And his crimes did seem to escalate as he got older. When he was 16, he attacked 2 men and their dog. The attack was brutal, and the dog ended up dying from the injuries. David ended up going to a juvenile facility. And after he was released, he moved to Darlington. When David got to Darlington, he moved into a ground-level apartment with a basement. Neighbors said that David and his friends liked to have a good time, but that they were overall nice people. Overall, David was described by his friends as a good bloke. He was polite to the neighbors, fairly friendly. He was popular and quite charming with the ladies. People seemed to respect him because he was vocal about hating racists and sex offenders. However, one of David's flaws was that he was a really heavy drinker. And that's when people would see a different side of David. Over time, David started to change his appearance. He lost a bunch of weight. He used to be nicely built, but became more lanky. He also shaved his head and got 2 tattoos on his skull that read Disorder and Subhuman. He joined a punk band called Downfall as the lead singer. He would also refer to himself as the Devil Man. Yikes. That seems descriptive about where his mind is at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you okay, bro?
Evil? Yeah. You evil? Got some sinister thoughts? Sounds
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Also,
Man.
I can't, when I say it in my head, like in a scenario, you're like talking to your buddy, you'd be like, "What's up, devil man?" It just sounds absolutely stupid. Like, it sounds so ridiculous.
I'm the Devil Man.
My name's not David. It's Devil Man.
Yeah.
Like, does it not sound silly?
Yeah. It just like makes me want to say it like Napoleon Dynamite. It's Devil Man. Gosh.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird name. Anyways, he seems to be going down a dark path.
Mm-hmm. Like, he was already kind of shady and bad, but now it seems like kind of weird.
Well, it just kind of confirms it. Like, who gets the word subhuman written on their skull in permanent ink?
Or disorder.
Yeah, even that, Becky. Even
like,
that.
Are you trying to tell someone you have a disorder? Or, like, are
Is
your
that
thoughts
what you
disordered?
cause? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, there's many reasons why you could have that tattooed on your head and none actually seem good.
True that, Becky. True that.
Yeah.
So after police learned about David's reputation and behaviors, they brought him in to speak to him. And when they did, David denied everything. And after speaking to investigators for a while, he ultimately admitted to police that he was the one who killed Julie.
Hmm.
That was a shocking turn of events.
Yeah, I didn't see that one coming, did you?
No, it was like, deny. Oh, wait, just a second. I'm going to tell you everything.
Just kidding. I did it.
Yeah, but obviously that kind of does speak to the investigator's skill set or their investigative skills because, like, good job. I don't know what else to say. Good job. You did what you were supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, even though he did tell them that he was the one who killed Julie, he refused to tell investigators where Julie's limbs and head were located. What he did tell them was that him and Julie met in a pub in April of 1998, and they shared some drinks together. David had charmed Julie, and they went back to his place and had sex. After intercourse, David said he found a pair of Julie's tights laying around. He grabbed them and began strangling Julie with them. After she was dead, David decided to have sex with her lifeless body. He then confessed he cut a piece of flesh from her thigh, cooked it, and ate it with garlic pasta and cheese. Then David took the rest of Julie's body to the basement. He kept her there for about a week, and that's where he cut off her limbs and head. He put her torso in a bag and disposed of it in the garden nearby where she was found.
He like hit all the like gross things.
Necrophilia. Yeah. Cannibalism. You know, I eat garlic and cheese pasta all the damn time. I'm hoping that can just get wiped from my fucking memory. Doubtful. But I hope. Jesus. That is
if
not
I come to your
good.
house and you make that for me, I know that it's like payback
for this podcast.
For having you read this podcast.
Yeah, I'm just going to have like a slice of meat. Like I'll just cut up a slice of chicken that can like resemble a thigh and just give it to you. I'll put it right on top.
I'm just going to like sit there staring and be like, I can't eat this. And you literally will be hee.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Anyways, that's damn disgusting. Like, what a psycho. Sorry. It's like, has he done this before? Or was this like his first time dabbling in the thigh meat of a human? Who knows? But, ew. So, after hearing David's confession, investigators wanted and needed to see David's home. And when they went inside, it was horrifying. It was very clear that someone had been harmed and killed there. Blood was all over, specifically in the bedroom and the basement. The forensic officer said at the time, and I quote, "The basement resembled the climatic scene from The Silence of the Lambs. There was blood everywhere." And of course, it wasn't long before the police were able to confirm that it was Julie who had been killed in David's apartment. David Harker was officially arrested and charged with manslaughter on the grounds of diminished responsibility for the murder of Julie Paterson.
Manslaughter. Okay, so when I read that, Bev, I was pretty, like, annoyed that he was only charged with manslaughter.
Yeah, I thought it was, like, an error here. I thought you, like, had fucked it up because I was like, manslaughter. Wait. What?
How could it be manslaughter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. He was charged with manslaughter. And I tried, like, Googling why that's what he was charged with. Like, it was manslaughter, slaughter on the grounds of diminished responsibility, which is, like, almost worse, right? But I tried to Google why that's all he was charged with instead of, like, first-degree murder.
Yes.
Or even second.
Yeah, I would say second for sure.
Yeah, and I couldn't find out why he wasn't charged with something more serious. So, if anyone knows, like, please let me know, because not a clue. Could not find a thing.
Huh. Maybe it's because he was drinking. No, I can't see it. I just can't. That is shocking, to say the least. All right, well, wow. That lucky bastard. So David Harker pleaded guilty in February of 1999, and he was given an indefinite jail term, and the judge recommended that he should not be considered for parole for at least 14 years. The judge said to David, "You are an evil and exceptionally dangerous man."
So it's like if he behaved really good after 14 years, he could potentially be paroled, right? But the sentence does allow for him to be in jail for as long as really they deemed was necessary. So I guess even though he was only charged with manslaughter, it's like, well, the actual sentencing is pretty fair. So
yeah,
it really is just a technicality on the terms at that point.
Yeah. And considering the judge says you are an evil and exceptionally dangerous man, I don't know that he'll be out ever. So there's hope with that one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, after David was arrested, he was actually mentally evaluated by a psychiatrist and was said to be a psychopathic killer who felt no remorse for his crime. In addition, the psychiatrist labeled him as being in the top 4 percentile of Britain's most disturbed men.
That sounds fitting, yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, during this whole evaluation process, David told the psychiatrist, and I quote, "People like me don't come from those films. Them films come from people like me." End quote. He had also claimed to have killed 2 more people. So he knew what he was.
Yeah, he knew how terrible he was. Them films. Come on.
Yeah, he's like, I'm a piece of shit.
And I don't care.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. It kind of seems like he's like proud of what he did. Like, look at me. I'm this sadistic fuck, basically. Look at me.
Films are made about me.
I'm so cool. Yeah.
It's either like that or he just has like an awareness of who he is, maybe not being proud of it, but just like is completely aware of what and who he is.
Yeah, so that could be it too.
Maybe that's some good insight on his part. Who knows?
Either way, he's still terrible.
Yeah, still a POS.
Yeah.
Now, despite David pleading guilty to this murder, the pain and suffering from Julie's family, friends, and the community didn't stop. The locals lived in fear that at any moment they could stumble upon a body part. I totally fucked that sentence up, but like the locals lived in fear that at any moment they could stumble upon a body part. Except for that old lady. She don't care. She's like, in my garden, sure.
Yeah. Oh, there's an arm. Don't worry about that.
It's good for the soil.
But could you imagine? It's good for the soil, Jesus. That would be my worry, though. Would be like, what if it's in my garden? I'd be like, well, yeah. I'm just going to neglect my garden this year because I just don't want to chance it.
Yeah, I mean, I often see like a bag on the side of the highway and I'm like, ooh, like, gotta be a dead body in there. You know, just from all the true crime stuff, like.
Gotta be.
It's just where my mind goes.
Yeah. Have you ever actually driven by one, though? And like, I know I think that at least every time I see one, just vaguely.
Uh-huh.
But have you ever driven past one and be like, my God, that bag looked mighty full. Should I pull over and check it out? Like, there's been a few where I'm like, oh my God. But I keep driving because I'm like, surely there's not a body in there.
Yeah, no, surely not. I'm usually by myself and I'm like, I'm not doing that by myself.
I'm too scared.
Yeah, exactly. So I can see why they were fearful. They don't want like every garbage bag they're going to see from here on out. They're going to be like, is there a torso in there?
Or a head, or limbs.
He did kill 2 other people, so there's quite a large possibility that there are garbage bags with torsos out there.
I mean, he only claimed to have killed 2 other people, so you don't actually know.
But it's a possibility. Maybe he was being honest. And not only that, but her other body parts haven't been found, so they might come across a human skull. True. Anyways, I digress, Becky.
Yeah.
So the police did their best to try and search for these body parts. And for months, they looked in the drains, rivers, parks, and landfills for the rest of Julie's remains. But they never found anything. And now this is kind of a throwback to the beginning of the episode, but Alan Taylor, if you remember, was Julie's long-term boyfriend and the father of her one child. He was devastated and took this loss very hard. We know that he adored Julie despite all of her flaws. And he would frequent the pubs around town getting drunk all the time. He would also visit Julie's gravesite regularly. The other locals could see the pain that he was in. And Alan was just extremely worried that David Harker would eventually get out of prison. Because, as we know, he could. He could get out of prison.
Yeah, it was a possibility. 14 years. Possibly earlier for good behavior, you know?
Yeah, so
you never know what the courts
why he's scared.
Do. Yeah.
It's true, but I mean, this guy was a freaking cannibal and a necrophiliac. Like, come on. It's the worst of the worst. You hope people would have a little bit more common sense about him.
Yeah. Nice accent.
Thanks. I was getting into, like, my feelings right there.
Are your feelings in a New York accent? Yes. Clearly.
Yes. Yes. Now,
I don't know if I've ever heard you do that before, to be honest.
I know, I've never done that before. I just got into it. Like, I couldn't even do a New York accent or a Boston accent if I tried.
And there it was.
Intentionally. Yeah, there it was. Oop, there it is.
Oop, hey.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm just starting to sing songs in my head. Like, I don't know why when you said that, I just started thinking of Bow Wow. You know the song, like, now basketball is my favorite sport. I like the way they dribble up and down the court. Like, you remember that song? Lil Bow Wow?
Lil Bow Wow. Wait, is he called Bow Wow now? Currently, is he called Bow Wow? Because he ain't so little now.
I think he is still pretty little, actually.
Little Bow Wow?
I think he is. Actually, you should look up his height. Right now.
Like right now?
Yeah, like do it.
Okay, 2 seconds.
Yeah, everyone just hold up. We're going to find out for you guys. Because we know you're interested on how tall Lil Bow Wow is. Wait, is he little? How little?
I don't know. Literally, it's not like popping up here. Oh, I have no idea. There's conflicting. 5'3" or 5'11". One is short, one is not.
What the fuck?
Okay, but do you want to hear what you know how like Google you search and it's like AI?
Yeah.
It says Lil Bow Wow. While he is not known for his height, it is not a topic that is widely discussed in the media or his career. He is described as a smaller rapper.
Lil Bow Wow.
So that's what comes up with that. We still love you. We like the way you dribble that ball up and down the court.
Becky, I literally looked it up and it came up immediately.
I don't know what to tell you, man. I Googled it. Well, what does it say? 5'3", 5'11"?
5'8".
Wow. Literally nothing I found.
Like 5'8" isn't even that like short.
No, it's not.
I honestly thought it was gonna come up with like 5'5".
You know, I'm highly concerned with my
isn't
phone right now.
It's because you don't get new ones ever. Now it's just fucking with you. You ask it a simple question, it literally gives you 2 answers at complete opposite ends of the spectrum. Like, this is your sign, you need to get a new phone.
Maybe it is. That was concerning.
Oh, that's funny.
Last time it rained, Jamie's phone said, "It's raining out." Mine says it's +20. I think you're right. I need a new phone. It's no, like we joke about it here in my household that how bad my phone is, like the weather.
I think, yeah, it's like you're being punished because your phone is ancient.
I got it in late 2020. It's not even that old.
Becky, 5 years is ancient for a phone these days.
Don't get me started on this, Bevy.
Anyways, we have gone far off the rail tracks, okay? We got to move on.
You're right. We do.
So I'm going to take you to 2025 because this is when tragedy struck the Darlington
2005.
area. What did I say?
2025.
Did I? Shit.
I'm pretty sure. Anyways,
well, guys,
I was about to 2005. Tragedy struck
the Darlington area once again, when reports that something had happened at one of the residences in Darlington came out. The Northern Echo newspaper got information that something serious had happened to a man in his 40s or 50s. When the journalists arrived, there were people dressed in white forensic outfits coming in and out of the man's residence. The home belonged to a man named John Morrison. He had lived by himself, and he was found strangled to death Now, this was confusing because he was known to everyone as a kind and awesome person. I mean, he drank a bit too much, but had no issues with anyone, and he did stay out of trouble. So who could have done this to this jolly man, okay? Who could have done it? Now, y'all, my jaw is on the floor because literally, as you know, I do not read these beforehand because even if I'm reading, I like the excitement and thrill of it all. And this next sentence will also make your jaw drop to the ground. So, to reiterate, who could have done this to this jolly old man? Now, it wasn't long before police arrested Alan Taylor for the murder of John Morrison. Alan had killed John Morrison. And what's weird is they were friends. It was found that John had done nothing to provoke the murder. Alan apparently was seeking revenge on David Harker, and he killed his friend so he could get to the same jail as David.
Madness. That's madness. Like,
this is for real, you guys. He killed his friend so he could get to the same jail as David. Mind is blown. Now, this truly does backfire on Alan because when police learned about this scheme of his, they sent Alan to a different prison so he wouldn't be able to hurt or kill David. And Alan was sentenced to life in prison.
See, how did Alan get a life sentence and David got manslaughter?
I know. That's why I enunciated that sentence so aggressively because I was like thinking the same thing.
It's bullcrap.
Now, this is just tragic, really, because just 3 months into his life sentence, Alan Taylor committed suicide by hanging. So we have 3 people's lives who were affected by David Harker. Now, years of grief and torment had just caught up to Alan. Now, over the years, David still refuses to tell anyone where he left Julie's remains, despite her family pleading. Fred Newman, Julie's ex-husband and father of her first 3 children, wrote David a letter asking if he would tell him where Julie was, but he responded to Fred, and I quote, "You are correct when you speak of decency. I have none. I have no inhibitions, remorse, or regret, and therefore care not one bit if your wife has a full body burial or not." End quote. David also wrote a riddle that led Julie's brother on a wild goose chase for her body. Unfortunately, the riddle did not lead them to anything. It said, in quotations, "I have a bank but no money. I have falls and keep on going. I have a bed but do not sleep. I have a mouth but do not feed. What am I? Do you know where it is?" And that was the whole quote. And yeah, I just think he's fucking with everyone.
Right? Like, this is kind of fun for him, it must be.
Yeah. Like he's just getting pure enjoyment from giving people hope and having it lead to nowhere.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
I know. He's literally like a terrible human.
Yeah, that quote that he said to Fred Newman, like writing him the letter back, that just says it all. Like, I can't even believe someone would just be like, yeah, I don't give a fuck if you get a proper burial for your dead ex-wife, actually. Don't care.
Yeah.
I ate her. I had sex with her lifeless body. I strangled her. And yeah, that did more for me than would me helping you get a proper burial for her. So fuck off.
Right?
Just like really disgusting, honestly.
Yeah. Pretty messed up, actually.
Yeah. So where is David Harker as of more recently? Well, he became eligible for parole in 2013. However, he remained in jail. David was denied parole in October 2021, again, under Helen's Law, which is a law put in place to make it harder for convicted murderers to receive parole if they refuse to tell authorities where they discarded their victims' remains. And as we know, he don't give a shit to do that, so David Harker remains in prison.
Like, does he not even want out of prison? I mean, I still think that they shouldn't, but like, if that's one of the things holding him back from being released, wouldn't he just do it?
Yeah, no, I think he like is getting enjoyment from like taunting her family, like as I said earlier. But even with that, like I don't think Helen's law, like I don't think that will guarantee that he gets out. Like even if he said it, I don't think that would guarantee it. They'd have to take a lot of other things into consideration. So I think he's like, yeah, like I know what I did. I know who I am. Like he kind of realizes he's batshit crazy. And so he probably has some idea that he's not going to get out, even if he, you know, shares where her remains are. So
why bother, I guess, right?
Yeah. And I mean, it's been 26 years and he hasn't told anyone where her remains are. So I guess why start? Now, Julie's brother, Michael, hopes that David Harker will die in prison for justice, but also so he has no chance to hurt anyone else.
Yeah, because I bet if he got out,
same.
he would hurt someone. He don't give a shit.
He don't give a flying hoot
about anyone.
That's right. Yeah, that case literally shocked me. Not only like what he did to her and like that, but his callousness shocked me, and just like Alan Taylor shocked me. Like, you killed your friend. That's wild.
I understand that he was like suffering with a lot of grief and sadness. I do truly get that, but I don't understand why you would kill some innocent person just to get in jail to try and kill David. Like, shouldn't your power be the fact that he's rotting in jail and that you still do get to live your life despite being sad?
Yeah. I mean, I just don't think revenge is the answer ever, in my opinion. I don't think that is. Like, in movies, sure. Like, with Jason Statham, a good revenge killing spree. I love.
Solves everything in those movies.
Yeah, but like in real life, like that's fucked up, you know?
It's not how we conduct ourselves as proper humans.
That's right, Becky. That's right.
It's just not. So, you know what? Out of all this, I'm really sad for Julie's children. She had 4 kids, you know, and they unfortunately had a hard time with her even before she was dead. But, you know, Julie will never get the chance to make it up to them. She'll just never get the chance to speak to them again. And her children never maybe get to see her in recovery or anything like that.
Yeah, there's no redemption.
There's no redemption. And that's what really makes me sad, because like she sounded like a wonderful person.
Yeah.
And I think to have a good, like a mom, even if she's struggling with addiction, if she's a good person, is better to have in your life than not at all.
To be taken from you so soon, you know?
Yeah, it's so sad. So I really feel sad for her kids. And I know this happened so long ago, but it still makes me sad because, like, they're probably around our age, maybe a little older, but close to. And I could not imagine not having my mom here at this time in our life, you know? So it makes me sad for them.
Makes me sad too, Becky.
Yeah.
Fuck you, David Harker. And I'm going to say that with like all the gusto in my soul. Because, yeah, you're a piece of shit. Anyways.
That's right. My God, I've missed your potty mouth, Bev.
That's right, you have. I figured you would have. I knew you did. You told me as much throughout the last couple weeks. So I brought it in full force today.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah, brother. All right, well, I love you.
I love you too.
And thanks for listening.
Thanks for sharing, Bev.
And just your weekly reminder to download our weekly episodes Follow us on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever streaming platform you listen to us on, and give us a follow on our social medias. You can find us at Luminol on the Wall. Can't wait till next week.